All right, so I think most of us are pretty familiar with the concept of flats and sharps, if we know anything about music. A lot of times I get people who are a little confused about the double flat and double sharp and why you would use those. But just know that there are times that we'll get to later in music where it's just more appropriate to use a double sharp than it would be to use the enharmonic equivalent. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens enough that we have to talk about it. So flat means to lower, sharp means to raise, and we can pretty much leave it at that. But the one concept that's a little bit tricky is the step thing, half step, whole step, understanding how exactly that works. So I have the piano up here. It's really important that we are able to understand that and move past that, because in the next module we'll learn about scales, and then we'll learn about intervals, and we'll learn about chords, and it's very helpful to understand, and no, in fact it's essential to understand about stepwise motion. So in a piano we have white keys and black keys. And the way that they're set up, here's a white key, here's a black key between another white key. They move in what's called half-step motion, so we can hear a half step here. There's no possible note in between that. That's it. All right, but if we look at a whole step, that would be a note that has a note in between it. So two half steps make up a whole step. And eventually we'll learn that scales are made up of stepwise combinations of steps and half steps. But it's really important right away to understand that a whole step is two half steps. And a piano keyboard, if we look at the white keys, it's built of whole steps, and then here's a half step because there's no black key in between at E and F. And then again we get our whole steps, and then again there's no in between note, so that's a half step. So if we're just looking at the white keys, the built-in half steps are E to F and B to C. Okay? So once we're clear on that, it's really going to help us moving forward.